Good morning. So as we prepare for our practice today, things we might want or need during the practice. I have one block, you could have two, but one might be enough, and a chair. So I'm going to demonstrate with both. I'm going to show the process of our balance with the chair, and then I'll also show it with the block. So I know many of us that are doing our practice have recovered from some issues, be it hip or knees or backs. And so the chair is a nice option. If you use the chair, we'll forego chaturanga. And if you use the block, you'll do chaturanga. That means you'll come down into your plank, do the push-up, then we all meet in down dog. So if you need to accommodate yourself, I would say go grab a chair. You can also have a towel if you like, a blanket, a pillow, some of the things that you might need during our practice. And if you have nothing but your yoga mat, that's okay. We can make that work. So our intention today is to center ourselves and then have that lovely shavasana where we find that quiet place inside. And then in between, we'll play with our bodies. So warming it up, becoming attentive, mindful, working on our balance, a little bit of our strength. And of course, you always be you. So if there are things going on and I'm suggesting things, you don't have to do them. In yoga, waiting is an option. So that said, I think I've stalled long enough to have participants join us. So I will go to my mat and we will come to Samastiti. So you can sit in any fashion that's comfortable. This is Sukhasana. You might want to sit in the chair. You might want to sit on a block, sit on a pillow. It's just that time where in your household there may be distractions going on. And this is your time to focus on yourself and push those distractions away. So get your body so it's strong enough to support however you're seated. That would be Mula Bandha, pelvic floor energy, the lower belly scooting in, the heart lifting, the spine lifting, the shoulders relaxing, the crown of the head reaches towards sky, and then you can lower or close your eyes. And in this space, listen and feel your breath. Now, if left to our own natural breath, it might be a little more shallow and chest. So I want you to encourage some breath, belly breathing. That means use the diaphragm and the muscles on top of it to really squeeze and then inflate and deflate. So focus a little more on that solar plexus. As you sit breathing, things in your body may become more aware to you. Issues of sleeping on your neck or strains from your back. So all things that your third eye chakra is guiding you to be mindful of. As you open the eyes, let the arms float. Float until they're above. They don't have to be fully straight, above. And then join the palms together with the hands at the heart, a slight bow of the head. We bring our attitude to one of gratitude. And then let's start with a little swimming, shall we? So be aware of things around you so you don't hit them, and let the arms move forward and around, kind of a breaststroke motion. So bringing a little energy into our shoulders. Maybe you notice your core. If you need to change your seating arrangement, feel free to do so. And sometimes when you're moving your body early in your practice, you may notice some popping or cracking. As long as it doesn't hurt, I think you're okay. Leave your arms in front and turn your palms upward. Breathing in, let the thumbs go back. Breathing out, let the pinky finger join together. Thumbs go back, breathing in, opening up. Exhale, tightening through the belly and drawing the pinky finger together. So we move gently, mindfully as we get warmed up. And we'll do one more. Hold the arms out to the side. Place the hands on the shoulders. Drop the elbows and move your arms in a circle pattern. Then go the other way. So you should feel a little warmth and energy coming to those upper back and shoulders. Okay, leave the hands down and just turn the head. Take as much time or go faster if you like. Drop the head from side to side. Paying attention. Bow the head, lift the chest. Let's bring a little warmth into our arms. So as I just kind of give my arm a little bath here. All the way down to my hand. Move to the other arm. I know it seems silly. Around the hand. So bring in a little warmth and energy and attention. Now begin circling the wrist. Relax your neck and shoulders. Then go the other way. Present your arms forward and then reach to one side and the other, noticing your core. Now this may feel different, likely does if you're in a chair or sitting on your bum. But let those arms be the weight that your core has to manage. Connect with your breath. Now letting the arms lift, creating rainbows. Lateral leaning very gently. You're unsupported here. And let the hands find your back. And this is where you lace the fingers or clasp the hands. If you're in the chair, feel free to just grab the back edges of the chair and then straighten the elbows. You'll notice that artificial pulling back of your shoulders. Good time to take a nice deep breath. And release. Let's all reposition ourselves to sit on our bums. So if you're up in the chair, come down onto your mat and sit with your right leg tucked in and your left leg extended out. You can sit on a pillow or blanket and use your hands behind. See me rocking side to side. What I'm doing is making sure I'm sitting on both sides of the pelvis, that I'm not listing to one side. So I'm kind of anchored. My spine is tall. So I'm going to go down through my hips and my back. We have done this one before. Let's focus on the leg. My extended leg, most likely your left leg, is going to turn. I'm sitting on the right hip. My toe has turned inward. and then I'll go back and sit my hip back down. Do you remember this one? Hip going and hip sinking. The arm reaches across and draws back. So a bit of a twist, weight on the hand, giving support, working through our hip joint here. Some people, when they do this, don't feel a whole lot. Some people feel it in their back, some in their hips, some in their shoulders. Now I'm going to reach and sweep up along my shin, palm or knuckle for support. Reach and sweep up, stretch through the fingers and toes in opposition. And release back down. Switch sides, left leg in, right leg out. And again, sometimes one side may feel very different than the other side. We notice that. Wonder why. Let's add some arms. Don't forget to drop that right hip. So the next one, I'm going to reach and sweep up. If your palm doesn't like it, be on knuckles. Reach and sweep, push your hips up. Reach slightly backward with your arm, forward with your hip. Releasing back down and coming to what's called Bandha Konasana, the cobbler's pose, where the bottom of the feet join together, placing the feet where you feel most comfortable, closer to the body, further away from the body. And then again, I'm going to move my buns away. Some people find that sitting on a blanket or a pillow is very helpful. Hands are on the shins. So I'm not going to round. I'm simply going to tip or hinge. If I were to turn sideways, that might be easier for you to notice. So it's just a little lean forward and then back up. Now, depending on your hips and your back, you may not go very far. And going far is not the point. Stay nice and tall, connected to your breath. So next time you hinge forward, let your head bow down. Some of us will look at the feet, some of us may put our head on our feet. Mindfully engage through your bandhas. Leave your head down as you roll ever so mindfully up, and then fold your knees up. I'm going to turn if you're already on the long end of the mat facing the short. My feet are apart, so I just came up to here. Hands, fingers forward, can be on knuckles with thumbs forward so that your shoulders are good aligned. I'm just going to lift into table pose, and then I'll show you the options. So this is what I'm going to be doing, lifting my hips up and setting my bum down. For those of you finding that that's a bit much for my wrist, Karen, come down on your elbows and lift the hips and lower. Yes, that would be those two options. So let's do this a few times. We don't have to be doing this together. after your next one, pause and let's move over onto our hands and knees. Okay, I'm going to be mindful I have a chair back here so I don't kick it. Palms or knuckles under your shoulders, knees under your hips. Watch out that your head doesn't droop. Keep a nice natural spine. Let's move gently into cats and cows, dropping the tailbone, engaging your core, lowering the head. Lifting the tailbone, lifting the heart, not so concerned with the head. Pausing in neutral, turning my toes under. Here's where I work on my bendy toes. So you come back and sit back on your toes as best you can. I know everybody's feet are what they are. So if you need to try it, then come out a little bit. If your knees don't like this, then just be here, but get your toes under. And we're going to stand up. So if there are blankets or towels or any props, go ahead, scoot them off and stand up and try not to use your hands. As we face one another, the hands are on the hips. I'm going to do some figure eights. How are those hips feeling? And then I'll do figure eights with my arms. So my pelvis stays still, Mula Bandha Uddiyana action, and my arms will go out, kind of an infinity symbol, right? Now I'd like for you to keep the arms going. So this is a little balance and mental challenge for us. As the arms come down, step together. As the arms go up, step apart. As the arms come down, step together. As the arms go up, step apart. Is your mind freaking out? Let's do one more. We're going to end up with the feet together and the arms overhead. You can grab the hands or lace the fingers and gently pull to one side. Do you see my bottom elbow in this case is bent rather than straight? So just pulling it, coming up and going to the other side. And releasing. Now on the long end of your mat, separate your feet wide. The distance should be your arms spread with fingers pointing down. Your feet should be somewhere under there. So this would be a little harder to do, believe it or not. And this is a little easier to do so. Try and find your own spacing. In some yoga styles, they actually tell you how many feet you should have between your legs. I've always questioned that because we're not all the same size. So as you address Mula Bandha and Uddiyana action, let the arms draw up. Keeping your arms and legs straight, let your left hand reach to the side where a wall might be. Coming back, reach to the other side. So my pelvis is still. My legs are straight. So it's more of my ribs that are reaching out through the extension of my arm. Now this is a little bit for your back, so pay attention to how it feels. You may notice a little pull in your inner thigh. Find your breath. Now stay over and drop your left arm. Let your right arm reach up. I've turned my palm in. That makes it a little easier. Visualize yourself making this diagonal line from the tips of the finger down your arm, your body, into your leg. And that left hand on your left leg is giving support. Looking up. Let the right hand help bring you up. Same thing, other side, support. Turn the palm inward towards you. Bring the arm over, look up. And return center. Now, it doesn't matter your orientation, but we are going to be using each end of the mat. So for the time being, arms are out. Raise the right heel up. I've lifted my right heel. Pivot on the right heel. Turn your left toe toward the short end and bring both arms forward. We know this is the crescent pose. So front knee or left knee is bent. Right leg, as it looks to you, is straight. Arms are forward. Crescent pose. Now, do like I'm doing. Squeeze that back leg a little bit more. If you want to raise the arms up, open the arms out. Slowly straighten the front leg. The back heel comes down. The front toe moves in. We go to the other side. So you can turn the right foot first, lift the left heel up, turn and pivot. There's more than one way to get to this crescent pose. And then squeeze that back leg. Ascertain your sensations. Could be easy, nothing going on. Could be something going on. Raising the arms up. Opening the arms out. Turning back to the long end of the mat and bringing those feet parallel. Go ahead and grab your hands behind. Roll the shoulders back. Lift up the heart so your shirt is all smoothed out. Raise the hands off your back. And now our first forward fold, Uttanasana. So I let my head drop. I let my arms come up. Release your hands. That means they can either come down on the floor, on your shins, or on your thighs. Imagine a big pillow between the legs as you squeeze that pillow and use your arms supporting your back and slowly bringing yourself up. Blood pressure. Notice how you feel. Yeah. And then walk those feet together. Okay, so if you joined us late, you see I have a chair and a block. I'm going to go through a little series that includes a balance in Virabhadrasana 3, Warrior 3, and Chandrasana, half moon pose. So the chair makes it somewhat easier. When I go to my planks and my down dogs on the chair, I won't be directly over my wrist as I would be on the floor. But this is our adaptation. But I think if you haven't used a chair before, you might really enjoy it. So bring your chair to the end of your mat, doesn't matter which one. And get right up, almost to it. Your knees aren't touching, you're not too far away. Find your mountain pose, Tadasana. Reach with the feet, the fingers, lift with the spine. Draw through the navel, careful not to tuck under the bum. It's a wonderful pose. The arms will lift when you breathe in. Exhale, bend the knees and put your hands on the edge of your chair. Now I will say a foot, it may not correspond with what you see. So as I lift up my chest, take your left foot, whichever, figure it out, your left foot going back. So I'm reaching forward, my knee is above the ankle, my foot is gone, I'm in my low lunge. This is modified. And again, I'm not right over, I'm a little behind. Back leg straight, touching the edge of the chair. So if the left leg is behind, put your left hand on the seat of the chair and release your right arm. Turn to that bent knee and reach up. Keep the front knee really bent, squeeze the back leg really straight. Bring the high hand down to the seat of the chair. Drop your back foot for warrior. Keep the front knee bent. Now release the left arm up and over, side angle pose. As I release the arm, the back heel comes up. I step into a plank, so be careful with your chair. It is a chair. Step your front foot to your back foot. I'm in a plank. Now my hands are not directly under my shoulders, but in this case, it's okay. Now I'm going to soften into the mat with my knees. Relax the toes. I can either leave the hands on the chair or put them on the floor and come to a child's pose. Coming back up, I'm going to move to a downward dog. So I turn the toes under, adjust my feet downward, lift my hips upward. It might be better for some to keep the knees a little bent. Stand on left foot, lift your right foot, three-legged dog. Stand on right foot, lift up left foot, three-legged dog. Stand on both feet, raise your heels, breath in, bend the knees, look forward to your chair. Walk or step up to the chair and mindfully return to Tadasana. Now we'll do the same thing other side at the chair before trying the block or the floor. Arms lift as you breathe in. Bend the knees, put the hands on the seat of the chair when you breathe out. Inhale, lift your chest. Now it's time for the other foot, or it should be the right foot, to step back into the lunge. The front knee bent above the ankle, the back leg nice and straight, shoulders are down. Now whichever leg is back, it's going to stay. That's going to be the arm that stays on the chair. Whichever leg is in front, that's the arm that's going to go up. Sometimes that front leg likes to straighten, don't let it happen. Bring the high hand down, drop the back heel for warrior. Now the left knee in front, or whichever knee is in front, arm stays. Release the other arm up and then reach it towards your ear. Breathe. Bring both hands to the chair. Lift up the back heel. Now be careful with your chair. And you might be in a place where it slides. Come to a plank. Lower carefully to your knees. Child's pose, hands on the chair or hands on the floor as you wish. Moving our way up to the downward dog with hands at the edge of the chair, turning the toes under, lifting up the hips, adjusting those feet, lifting the tailbone, stiffening the arms. Lift up your left leg, return it, lift up your right leg, and return it. Both heels come up, bend the knees, look forward, walk or step up to the chair, Mindfully stand Tadasana. Now you may have enjoyed the chair, in which case I'd say stay there. I'm going to come over where my block is, and I can use one or two or no blocks at all. Same order of operation. Tadasana. Arms lift when you breathe in. As you bend over, put the hands either on the seat of the chair or your blocks, or the floor. Lift up your chest. So this time, let's do the right leg, just so we're all the same. Right leg back. If you're using one block, it comes under the right hand. If I'm not using a block, I'm on the floor. Now the leg that's in front, that's the arm that's going to lift as I turn. Bottom shoulder goes forward, top shoulder goes back. When I release down, I'll drop my back heel. Now if I had two blocks, I'd put my left hand on the block. If I have one block, I move it over to the left hand or the front leg. Release the arm of the leg behind up and over. As I release, I'm coming to a plank. Best done if you're on the blocks, on the floor for this. Now if you're at the chair, you're going to go to child's pose. If you're on the floor, you'll do a chaturanga. So you'll go down, up baby cobra, cobra, up dog, down. Then we all make our way into our downward dog. Stand on the left foot, lift up your right leg. Stand on your right leg, lift up your left leg. Stand on both feet, raise your heels, breath in. Bend the knees, look forward. You walk, you step or jump to the front. Slowly rise. Arms lift, we do the other side. Bend the knees, put the hands on your blocks or the floor. Using the chair as that option. Lift the chest. This time the right foot goes back. Nope, this time the left foot goes back. Feel that space where the foot was. Front knee bent, back heel up. The bent knee arm lifts. If you're not on a block, you're on the floor. As you release the high hand, the back heel drops. If you have but one block, move it to the other side. If you don't have a block, to the floor. Open up and reach over your head. Release. Come into your plank. So you see I've moved my block. I'm in my plank. Elbows in, lower chest and hips at the same time. Breath in, you're up. Breath out, you're down. Toes under, hips up. Press up into your down dog. Left leg lifts up. Left leg comes down. Right leg goes up. right leg comes down. Both heels lift, breathe in, bend the knees, look forward, walk, step, or jump to the front. Slowly release. Join your palms, hands at heart. Catch up with yourself. Maybe the heart's beating. So if you have a chair or a wall, you might want to use it because where we're going is into a balance. So we will go, we'll just go back and use the chair again. So we do a very similar like what we just did. We go up, we go down, we step into our lunge. This time we go forward. So this is warrior three, whichever leg you're standing on, that arm stays on the chair, lift the other arm up, step back, and then we'll step up and do the other side. Now, if you're not using a chair, same thing on the floor, could use a block. So I'm back to my chair seat. Breath in, arms lift. Breath out, touch the floor of the chair seat or blocks. Lift the chest, so let's make our left leg go back. Standing up, crescent pose. Now I'm going to my warrior three. I'll put the hands on the seat of the chair, push off the back leg, lift the leg while the toe is down, squeeze through my hip. And if I say, well, I don't need my hands, you could take them back, or you could take them forward, or you could leave them on the chair. If you're standing on your right leg, keep the right leg down, put the right hand on the chair, open the body, and eventually open your left arm. So your left arm is up and your left leg is up. The toes are pointing forward the way your body is facing, and because you have the chair, maybe you can look up. Step back into your warrior. Create a calm. Flip the back heel up and step up. And we'll do the other side. I'm going to do it with the block this time, just so you know. You could stay at the chair. Inhale, arms lift. Exhale, bend the knees. Inhale, lift your chest. So the right foot goes back, you're in the low lunge. Let go of the chair and come all the way up in crescent pose. Using the block or the floor, lean forward, pick up your back leg, point the toe down. You don't have to hold on to a block. You can put your hands at your side or in front. Whichever leg you're standing on, might be the left leg. Open the right arm, turn the body. If you can, look up. You're breathing, right? Carefully step back, find a warrior. Back heel comes up and step up. So let's do that one more time. I'm going to do the other side with the block and then the other side with the chair. But you can use the chair or the block or nothing. Inhale, arms lift. Exhale, bend the knees. Inhale, lift the chest. Left foot for everybody steps back. Find your crescent pose. Go to warrior three, hands on the chair, the block or the floor. Lift up your chest. Hold on to the block, the floor, open the body. Look to the open side. Chandrasana. Step back in warrior. Lift the back heel. Come to Tadasana. Now I'm going to go over here on the chair. Other side. Arms lift, we breathe in. Bend the knees, hands on the floor of the chair or the block. Inhale, lift the chest. Exhale, which foot steps back? Right foot steps back. Crescent pose. Warrior 3, chair, blocks, floor. Step up, squeeze your glutes, get the letter T. Leg you're standing on comes to the chair or the block. Open yourself up. Chandrasana. Step back to your warrior. Step up to Tadasana. Okay, let's take a seat. How are you? Okay. Sitting, spinning, noticing. So those balances don't matter how well you do them. It's just the attempt at finding yourself on one leg in space. Go the other way. Now, because I have this chair here, I'm apt to use it, but for those of you not using a chair, we'll just show you what you can do without it. So I'm going to turn to face the short end of my mat. I'm going to put my feet up with my knees bent, but if I wasn't going to use a chair, I would be in what you know, tabletop. But because I have this chair, I will put my feet here. So you can have your feet up, you can have your feet on the chair. You'll notice there is a difference, right? So the knees will stay bent. You're going to lift your head, your neck, your shoulders, and reach out to the sides of your knees. And then the head will come back down. Now for some of you, as you lift up, you may want to take one hand behind the head because I want you to stay here a little. Try not to squeeze your bum up. If your feet are up, then you go back down. Then you do the same thing other side. For those of you who say, I'd prefer to keep the hands behind my head the whole time, you can do that, a little more challenging. So it would be here, staying, and coming down. So in yoga, we stay in the pose. For those not using a chair, be mindful that your back is not popping up, nor is it artificially pushing down. Neutral spine, as I always say. And the hands behind the head, for those using that option, the head rests in those hands. I'm sure you figured out the most appropriate breath is breathing out when you lift. Now hold your head up. So if you had your arms out here, let's all put our hands behind our head. And you're going to lift your legs up off the chair if they were on the chair. You're going to have one leg forward, and then you're going to switch. Now the caution is not pulling the knee in as far as I'm showing. It should come back where it was. So it's very little. If you're using a chair, you might feel your calf gently touch the seat of the chair, but it doesn't rest. Rest your head and your hands, however. If you wanted to create some twisting, feel free. And pause. Those not using a chair, you're going to go to bridge pose, classic. Those using a chair, you're going to put your feet on the chair. Again, it's a chair. Be careful not to kick it over. And you'll do your bridge pose here. So it's just a matter of how much height you want. Coming down mindfully. One ankle on one knee, either foot is fine. You may be here, you may be here, you're not going to stay there anyway. Traditional pretzel pose suggests the hands go around the bottom leg and you pull. I don't do that. I let the bottom leg pull on its own. I hold the foot and the knee and get them in a good position by pushing the top knee away and pulling the foot in. Then I move toward the foot on top, so I roll a little. If your right leg's on top, you'll be rolling to the left. If your left leg is on top, you'll be rolling to the right. Switching legs. Now it does seem to make a bit of difference if that foot that's up is active rather than passive or twisted even. So keeps the foot flexed. And if you want a little more, roll toward, oh, yes. Come back to your breath. Returning center, so bit of hamstring. For those who have a chair nearby, this is useful in that as you pull the leg up, it's a little helpful to have the bottom leg elevated. If you don't have a chair, this is fine. Or this is fine. Make the up leg straight at the knee. Now, notice your pelvis might be wanting to lift. I'm showing you a little bit of lift here. I want you to press that pelvis or tailbone downward, and your leg may not go as far. That's okay. Switch your legs. All the options are there for you to pick from. Drop that tailbone. And release. Let's all make our way to our sides. Watch out for your stuff. You can be on your elbow, which should be aligned under your shoulder, or you could be down on your side. You could have your hand under the head. So whichever is fine. Top leg matches the bottom leg. My knees are a little forward toward the front edge of my mat. My feet are not out in front, they're a little back. So just sink into this. So if I'm here nice and tall, here's me sinking in. That isn't where we want to be. So feel that lifting from the undercarriage. Anchor that bottom shoulder. Reach with the top arm. And then I'll show you if you're laying down. I'm going to lift up my hips, and some of you might want to extend your leg. If I was doing it from down here, I would just lift up. I'm not even coming off the floor, and extend my leg. That's my modification if I cannot come up on my shoulder. Not everybody can or should. So you can be here, you can be here, you could be here. I'm lifting out of my bottom hip even though it's touching if I'm laying down. So I'm gathering a bit of isometric strength. And release the hips. You can either roll over. I'm going to spin to the other side so I can keep speaking to you. So again, if it's better for you to lay down and not be on that shoulder, you can do that. You still feel this undercarriage lift, top arm lift, raise the hips, sometimes extending the leg. Option for laying down. Sometimes less is more, depending on you. You be you. And we come onto our backs for what's called the windshield wiper. So I'd like for you to widen your feet till you feel the edges of your mat. So the legs are apart. Arms can be by your side or out to the side. You're just going to gently let the knees roll from one side to the other. And I say gently because this can cause discomfort in your back, so take it easy. So as you have your windshield wipers going, may I draw your attention to the bottom leg. So when you roll to the right, relax the right leg completely into the floor, and conversely on the left side. Now feel free to stay on one side. Take both of your arms in the opposite direction. Lift the arms, gently lift the legs, let them fall to the other side. Arms go in opposition. Words in your head are surrender, let go. On your own terms, gently move yourself to a seated position. As we face one another, bottom knee, let's say your left is forward. And the top leg, let's say your right ankle, sits into the instep. That's comfortable for me. It may not be for you. So if you don't want them sitting one atop the other, you can just have your feet here. I like to rest my top foot into the instep. Now use your left hand to sit up nice and tall. Could perhaps use a block to help you sit tall. So I'm not here because I am going to do a rotation. Now I want you to notice this twist feels very different to me than the traditional Lord of the Fish, the one where we sit and put our elbow across and look back. So just take in where you feel this one. So as you're mirroring me, it will be your left hand that lends support. Now this right hand has purpose. This right hand is either going to push very hard, so you see it creates that movement into my thigh. Now I could do it with a bent knee, see, I mean bent elbow, I pull, you see my elbow bends, or I could do it with a straight arm. So whichever feels best to you, but apply pressure with the right hand. So left hand up, press with the right hand, pull the left shoulder back, and look behind you. Slowly come back center. Did you feel all that good stuff around here? Maybe? Let's change to the other leg. So bottom knee is your right knee. Sit this way or one foot in front of the other. So your right hand, if you feel that's not enough support, use something to give yourself that nice difference. Lift it up nice and tall. Left hand is the pusher hand. Get very tall. This right shoulder will move backwards, so get tall and then turn. Push, push, push with the hand. Return. So we're coming to a squat. You can use wall. I don't know if you can lean on the back, on the legs of the chair. This is pretty stable. I could lean against it, though it's kind of hard. You could use a block to kind of squat on. So let me show you what you can do. Let's just say this was a wall. I'm going to lean against it. If I needed a block, I could sit on it. So let me show you some options as I am in my squat. And some of you may say, well, I don't need anything, Karen. I am able to squat down like this and do it. But if you have something to kind of lean against, I think it allows us to, I'm sliding here, I think it allows you to, and you want these heels down, get into a better position. This gives me a little more support. I don't feel that I have to lean as far forward. I can lower, and then I can apply pressure into my inner thigh. Now, if you didn't have a wall or something, you could position yourself on a block. My heels are down. It's the same thing. Now, I was thinking I could do it against a chair, but I'm sure I would knock my chair over if I did that, So if you have tight Achilles, it's hard to keep the heel down, and sometimes standing with your heels up on a blanket or a pillow and your feet low below that will help fill that space and get you to where you need to be. Keep pushing with my arms into my inner thigh. Okay, release out. We're going to come onto our belly, so you don't need to stand up. You just need to reposition. So this one is kind of an upside down sit-up. I'm going to be laying on my belly, on my forearms, and you won't be able to see because I'm on my belly, on my forearms, but I want you to feel that the initiation is coming from the belly button, and then I will bow my head and look under my legs, and I should see a little bit of light behind me. I believe we have done this before. So as I position onto my forearms and onto my pelvis, tops of the feet are down. If you feel that the Sphinx pose is difficult for your back, scoot the elbows forward, mitigate. You can still do this in this position. This would be more tradition. Now notice how much of your belly section is on the floor. And so we're moving the head to look down, and then I lift up just enough I see a peak of light. So I haven't lifted my hips all the way up, just enough that I can peek and see a little bit of light. Then as I return, I lower my thighs. I feel my hip bones, my pubic bone. I don't let my belly button touch, and lift the chest. So the pattern is breathe out, lift up, breathe in, return. Breathe out, lift up. Now, if you want to get into that lift up and hold it there, feel free for a little more challenge. Tighten through your belly. It's all about the abdominal wall. Once more. Opening into my thigh. Feel free to stay on the elbows, bend one leg, hold the leg. You can then lay back down if that's more comfortable, simply holding the heel toward the bum or maybe pressing your hip down into the mat. Same thing, other leg. I know some of you might be able to do 2 legs at one time, but I'm focusing on each side just to ascertain. You're welcome to lay on your side as an alternative. And release. So hands under your shoulders, elbows up and in, knees down but hips up. Lift your chest and hover. Straighten your elbows. Go back and hover. Straighten your elbows. One more time. Down to hover. And now up to child's pose. Any variation you like. Arms extended. Hands behind the head. Slowly release from your child's pose. Take a moment to sit. And you can sit any way that you like. This is me. You can sit up in the chair. We're just going to take a few quiet moments in not Shavasana pose, but to taste the position in our minds. So I'm going to move a little closer to you, because I know it sounds better when I get here. So I'm sitting, I've tucked my legs up. So in the course of our day, we often have opportunity to sit. There can be things going on around us, and it's not like laying and relaxing in Shavasana. So pre-Shavasana, but to taste that space that you can always access, is to sit yourself in no particular fashion and lower the eyes. And maybe for today, I want you to squeeze the eyes closed just for a moment and then relax. So do a few repetitions of squeezing your eyes and relaxing. Squeeze your eyes and relax. Squeeze your eyes and relax. And then just stay right there a moment. You get that fun little pattern of shapes behind the eyelids, sometimes in color. Let that entertain you as you sit mindfully. Move your attention to your breath. Notice perhaps the beating of the heart. Sometimes when the body has cranky parts, it begins to speak from those parts, so listen to them. Slowly begin to flutter your eyes. Let's just do a little bit with the hands before we lay down. So we're going to rub the hands together vigorously. I got a little warm today, so my hands are a little sweaty. So I feel that heat being generated. But I really want you to notice the energy you're creating. And you can use this energy to put anywhere in your body, on your back, on your knees, on your shoulders, on your hips. But just pause and just feel that energy right between your hands. Very cool. So let's do that rubbing again one more time. And then decide what body part might benefit from this warmth, this chi, this energy that you've created. Could it be your neck, your knees, your feet? Go ahead and put those warm hands where you think you need them. Well, while not a massage, it is very nice. And so this is where you do get set up for your Shavasana. And if you have your chair still nearby, you can put your feet up on the chair. It's kind of like feet up the wall, or you can go over and put your feet up on the wall. Your body temperature will probably start lowering a little bit, so you might feel cool. Grab a blanket, use a pillow, lay on your back, maybe back on your belly or on your side. So this is the time where we set up to do nothing. We just take a few moments to be with ourselves, to appreciate ourselves. So coming to that space, and then in that transition, noticing the transition that kind of pushes our buttons, so to speak. I'm aware some of you are very good at practicing your own meditation, so use your own techniques or let the breath be your companion as you slow yourself down. Maybe zeroing in on a certain thing. It could be holding more gratitude or appreciation. It could be opening up your heart for a little more love. It could be protection. Maybe you need to protect yourself more. This can add to your moment of Shavasana and quiet to give it intention and purpose as you just float around doing nothing. Waiting for the singing bell, let this time be yours. And so we deepen the breath. Wiggle the fingers, the toes. Awaken the body with all the goodness that we carry back with us. Stay as you are, roll to your side. Our thoughts today from Indira Gandhi. Whenever you take a step forward, you are bound to disturb something. The path of true anything isn't always smooth. Almost any aspect of our life can be disturbed as we pursue and accomplish goals that are important to us. So like going to college may mean separating from parents, a promotion may mean a different relationship with coworkers, and marriage may mean losing and gaining friends. So many things, I would say, even including politics. The only way to prevent such disturbances would be to avoid ever taking a step forward. But who wants to stand in one place? Thought then to consider, I recognize that each time I step forward, I may stir things up. And I can't avoid these disturbances, but I can accept them and move on. So I don't know. Here we are, coming to sit nice and tall. Relaxing through our neck and our shoulders, but still remaining consciousness of our bandhas and how well they support us. So as your arms stretch to the sides and lift all the way up until they come together, and then with the hands at the heart, we always like to finish by saying this word that means the best in me honors the best in you. Namaste. I heard you. I wish you a wonderful day, a rest of your week. I look forward until we meet again. Namaste.